The
Look at me.
rain-slicked streets of Brooklyn
We knew this
gleamed
wouldn't be
under the
easy,
sodium lamps
but
like
we're in this
veins
together.
pulsing with the city's indifferent
Trust me.
heartbeat. And Evan Morales knew in that instant that his life was about to shatter, or perhaps, against all odds, begin. He clutched the crumpled letter from Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Its words a death sentence. Deportation back to the dusty streets of Guadalajara, where dreams went to wither like untended roses. But then Alex Harper stepped out from the shadows of the coffee shop doorway, his voice steady as the Hudson, offering a lifeline wrapped in lies. Marry me. Evan. It's fake, but it'll save you. And maybe it'll save us both. Evan's heart hammered against his ribs like a trapped bird. The weight of his secret is love for men, buried deep under layers of familial expectation and machismo clashing with the desperation of exile. At 28, he had crossed borders not just for opportunity, but for the air to breathe freely, only to find himself bartering his soul in a fluorescent-lit courthouse 2 weeks later. Alex, 30 and as American as apple pie laced with quiet rebellion, signed the papers with a pen that trembled just enough to betray his own unraveling world, a family that had cast him out years ago for the same sin Evan now hid. To new beginnings. Alex toasted that night over cheap takeout in his cramped Queens apartment, their glasses clinking like fragile promises. But as Evan's dark eyes met Alex's hazel ones across the flickering TV screen, a spark ignited not of obligation, but of something perilously real. The first months blurred into a rhythm of pretense. Their shared two-bedroom walk-up a stage for the immigration interviews that loomed like storm clouds. Evan woke each dawn to the scent of strong coffee brewing, Alex's ritual, and the man's easy laugh echoing from the kitchen as he scrolled through job listings on his laptop. Evan, with his engineering degree from a Mexican university gathering dust, took shifts at a bodega, stacking shelves under the watchful eye of Mr. Ramirez, who eyed him with the suspicion reserved for fresh faces. You married now? To that gringo. Better hold on tight, America, choose up, dreamers. Evan's cheeks burned, not from the words, but from the memory of Alex's hand brushing his during their staged date night photo op in Central Park. A touch that lingered like an electric current long after the camera clicked. Nights were harder, the thin wall between their rooms a mocking barrier. Evan lay awake, staring at the water-stained ceiling, replaying the life he'd fled, his mother's tear-streaked face at the airport, whispering prayers for a son who could never be her perfect heir, his father's stern nod, masking the disappointment of a boy who preferred stolen glances at soccer teammates over the girls paraded at family fiestas. In Guadalajara, love had been a whisper, a risk that could shatter everything. Here, in the land of the free, it was a transaction. Yet Alex's presence seeped through the cracks, his playlists of indie folk spilling under the door. Lyrics about lost homes and found hearts that twisted Evan's gut. One evening, after a grueling shift, Evan collapsed on the couch, his uniform sticky with sweat, and Alex appeared with a cold beer and a hesitant smile. Rough day? The question hung, simple yet loaded. And for the first time, Evan let the dam crack. Every day? He murmured, voice thick with the accent he couldn't shake. I left my abuelita's tamales and my sister's laughter for Thesa green card and a stranger's bed. Alex sat closer, not touching, but near enough that Evan felt the warmth. I'm not a stranger anymore, Evan. And this bed, it's yours as long as you need it. In that vulnerability, the first thread of trust wove between them, fragile as spider silk. As autumn leaves turned the parks to fire, their charade deepened into routine. They attended couples counseling sessions mandated by USCIS, where a no-nonsense therapist named Dr. Leong probed their union with questions that peeled back layers neither had intended to expose. What do you love about each other? She'd ask, her pen poised like a scalpel. Alex, ever the performer from his days in off-Broadway theater, spun tales of Evan's quiet strength. His hands calloused from building models and secret as a boy, dreaming of bridges that connected worlds. Evan, heart-pounding, echoed with truths disguised as fiction, Alex's laugh that chased shadows. His sketches of cityscapes pinned to the fridge like love letters to possibility. Outside the office, they walked the high line, hands occasionally brushing accidental at first, then deliberate. One crisp October afternoon, as barges chugged along the Hudson below, Alex stopped, his breath visible in the chill. Evan, this isn't just paperwork anymore, is it? Evan's throat tightened, the confession bubbling up like lava. No. Dios. No. You've become home. Their first kiss was tentative, born of rain and revelation under a canopy of rustling maples, tasting of salt and second chances. It was the spark that ignited the Real journey, one where green cards paled against the currency of the heart. Winter clamped down on New York like a vice, snow blanketing the fire escapes in deceptive purity, mirroring the fresh start Evan dared to imagine. Their intimacy unfolded in stolen moments, mornings tangled in sheets that no longer divided them. Alex tracing the scars on Evan's knuckles from a childhood brawl, defending his hidden self. But Joy was a jealous lover, shadowed by threats. Evan's green card interview loomed in January, a gauntlet of scrutiny where one slip could unravel everything. They rehearsed in the dim glow of string lights. Alex's voice steady. Remember, we're in love. We've built this. Yet doubt not at Evan his family's weekly calls, laced with questions about the perfect wife he couldn't conjure. Stirred ghosts. During a video chat with his sister Maria, her face pixelated on the screen, she pressed, Hermanito, you sound happy, but your eyes, they're hiding something. Evan forced a laugh, but later, curled against Alex on the worn leather couch, he shattered. They'll never accept me. Not the marriage. Not us. Alex held him through the sobs, his own tears silent. Then we'll be each other's family, the one that chooses you. The interview day arrived with a ferocity of sleet, the Federal building a monolith of glass and judgment. Evan sat rigid in the sterile waiting room, palms slick, while Alex squeezed his hand under the tablilla lifeline in the storm. When called in, the officer's gaze was steel. Mr. Morales, describe your relationship. Words tumbled out, woven from half-truths and whole hearts picnics in Prospect Park. Late-night confessions over chamomile tea. Alex, summoned next, spoke of Evan's resilience, the way he hummed rancheras while cooking pozole, infusing their home with flavors of a world he'd lost. Hours later, as they emerged into the gray light, the approval letter clutched like a talisman. Evan collapsed against Alex's chest. We're free. But freedom was a double-edged sword. It forced reckonings long deferred. Spring unfurled in tentative blooms, their love solidifying like roots pushing through concrete. They moved to a brighter apartment in Astoria, walls adorned with Evan's engineering sketches and Alex's charcoal portrait. Evan's face emerging from the paper, eyes alive with unspoken stories. Work beckoned. Evan landed an internship at a sustainable design firm, his ideas for eco-bridges earning nods from skeptical bosses. Alex, directing a community theater production on immigrant tales, found in Evan amuse, casting him in a small role that drew applause for its raw authenticity. Yet the past clawed back. Letters from Evan's mother arrived, perfumed with nostalgia and veiled pleas. When will you bring her home? Your father weakens. Guilt twisted like thorns. One balmy May evening, after a rehearsal, Alex found Evan on the fire escape, staring at the skyline. I have to tell them, Evan whispered. About us. Before it eats me alive. Alex nodded, fear mingling with pride. We'll do it together. The call to Guadalajara was a bridge over an abyss. Evan's voice cracked as he spoke to his mother. Rosa. The words spilling in Spanish laced with English resolve. Mama. The marriage. It's to a man. Alex. He saved me. And I love him. Silence stretched. Eternal. Then her soba sound that echoed Evan's own buried grief. Mi hijo. How could you hide this? His father, Tomas, took the phone. Voice gravel. You shamed us. The line went dead, leaving Evan adrift in a sea of rejection. Alex pulled him inside. Their embrace a harbor. It hurts. But you're not alone. In the days that followed, Evan mourned the family of blood. But Alex's unwavering presence cooking breakfasts with bilingual flair. Planning trips to Coney Island wove a new tapestry. Friends from the theater group, a vibrant queer-found family, enveloped them in potlucks and pride flags, teaching Evan that belonging wasn't inherited, but chosen. Summer's heat wave mirrored the fever of change. Evan's internship blossomed into a full-time offer. His designs for a pedestrian bridge over the East River, symbolizing crossings both literal and metaphorical. Alex's play premiered to sold-out crowds, its themes of forged families resonating like a heartbeat. But the fracture with his birth family festered. A surprise visit from Maria, his sister, arrived unannounced in July, her suitcase thumping on the threshold like an accusation. At 32, she was the bridge Evan had always leaned on, her dark curls framing a face etched with worry. Mama sent me to fix you, she confessed over tacos at a street fair, the air thick with sizzling carnitas and mariachi strains. Evan braced, but Maria's eyes softened. But I see it. Evan. The way he looks at you like you're his whole world. I came to meet my brother, not change him. Tears flowed freely then, under strings of chilly lights, as Alex joined them, his easy charm disarming her doubts. That night, over bottles of Dos Equis on the balcony, Maria shared stories of their childhood. Evan's secret poetry hidden in mattress folds, his gentle defense of outcast cousins. You've always been the heart of us, she said. Mama will come around. Or if not, you've got us now. The reconciliation with Rosa and Tomas was a slow thaw, brokered by Maria's letters and Evan's unyielding authenticity. In August, they flew to Mexico. Alex's hand and Evan's a quiet anchor through customs. Guadalajara enveloped them in sun-baked embrace, the scent of agave fields, the clamor of tianguis markets. Rosa's home, with its tiled courtyard and virgin statues, felt like a time capsule. The first dinner was a battlefield of silences. Tomas's fork-scraping plate like unspoken barbs. But Alex, with his halting Spanish and genuine curiosity, asked about Tomas's days as a mechanic, drawing stories of oil-stained hands building dreams. Evan watched, heart swelling, as Rosa's gaze lingered on their joined fingers, softening like dawn on adobe. You look happy. Mijo, she finally whispered, her hand trembling over his. That's all a mother wants. Forgiveness didn't erase scars, but it mended enough for hugs at the airport. Promises of visits exchanged like fragile heirlooms. Back in New York, autumn's palette returned, richer now with purpose. Evan's bridge project broke ground. A ribbon of steel and hope linking boroughs as he and Alex linked lives. Their wedding reel this time, under a chuppah borrowed from Jewish friends. Blending Catholic rosaries with rainbow sachets drew a mosaic of souls, Maria beaming beside theater kin, Rosa dabbing tears with a lace handkerchief, Tomas clapping Alex on the back with gruff approval. Vows spoken echoed the journey, in a world that forced us together. We chose to stay. As confetti rained in the park, Evan realized the green card had been mere paper. The true visa was love's unyielding grace. Yet life, ever the dramatist, tested their bond one final time. In the hush of November, Alex received a call from his estranged parents and Ohio farmers who disowned him a decade prior for choosing wrong. Heart attack, they said. Come home. Alex hesitated, old wounds reopening like frostbitten earth. They'll see us. Evan. Judge. But Evan, forged in his own fires, urged, go. Show them the family we built. The drive through amber fields was a pilgrimage. Alex's knuckles white on the wheel. The farmhouse door creaked open to wary faces. Margaret, frail in her rocker, and Harold, stooped by regret. Words faltered at first, but Evan's presence introducing himself as husband, sharing tales of bridges and broken homes mended cracked the ice. Margaret's hand on Alex's cheek trembled. My boy, you've grown roots I couldn't see. Harold's nod was gruff, but his eyes held apology. Departing with pumpkin pie and a tentative invite for Christmas, they left lighter. Chains of isolation snapped. Winter solstice brought the deepest gift, a positive test. Not of papers, but of possibility. No, not children, yet their path wound differently but adoption papers for a foster teen named Luca. 16 and fierce, with a Mexican-American heritage mirroring Evan's. Found in the system's shadows, Luca's eyes held Evan's old fire, a gay kid rejected by kin, dreaming of stability. Their home expanded, laughter filling rooms once echoing with doubt. Holiday lights twinkled as Luca unwrapped his first family photo album. Alex's arm around Evan's waist. Maria's voice on speakerphone singing villancicos. In that circle, Evan saw the arc complete from forced union to chosen kin. A family not of blood or borders, but of boundless heart. Years folded like pages. But the core remained. Evan, now 35, leading teams on skyline-spanning wonders. Alex, directing films that spotlighted queer immigrant voices. Luca, thriving in college, his sketches rivaling Alex's. Visits to Guadalajara wove threads tighter. Rosa baking for her boys. Tomas teaching Luca carburetor tricks. And in Ohio, holidays with Alex's parents bloomed into traditions. Grudges thawed by grandchildren of the soul. Evan often stood on their Brooklyn stoop at dusk, Alex's head on his shoulder, reflecting on that rainy night. We were forced into this, he'd murmur. But we chose the miracle. Alex's kiss was answer enough, warm against the chill. In America's vast, flawed embrace, they'd carved a legacy, proof that love, once denied, could rebuild worlds. And in its light, every denied dream found its home. The new year dawned with a ferocity of resolutions. But for Evan and Alex, it was less about lists and more about the quiet evolution of their shared space. Luca's arrival had shifted the apartment's gravity books on urban planning stacked beside graphic novels. The kitchen now a laboratory for fusion cuisine, Alex's mac and cheese laced with Evan's chili verde. Mornings began with 3 alarms blending into chaos. Luca's teenage grumbles a soundtrack to Evan's coffee ritual. Why do you guys stare like that? Luca teased one February dawn, catching Alex's fond gaze on Evan over pancakes. Evan chuckled, ruffling the boy's dark mop. Because miracles come in pairs. It was a truth hard one, etched in the lines around their eyes. Reminders of nights when doubt had howled louder than wind off the East River. Evan's career surged like the bridges he designed, his firm tapping him for a lead role on a massive Hudson projectispan connecting Jersey to Manhattan, symbolizing the very crossings he'd navigated. Late nights at the drafting table left him hollow-eyed. But Alex's packed lunches notes tucked in foil like love letters kept him anchored. Don't forget to dream big. One read, doodled with a tiny heart. Meanwhile, Alex's film, Crossings garnered festival buzz. Its screenplay drawn from their story, a Mexican immigrant and his American husband forging family from fragments. Casting calls filled their living room. Luca auditioning with dramatic flair that drew laughs and proud tears. "You're a natural," Alex affirmed. But Evan saw the deeper gift, the boy learning to claim space. His own queerness unfolding like a safe bloom. Tensions simmered beneath the surface. Though, Luca's school counselor called in March. Voice laced with concern, bullying. Whispers about his dad's. The weird family setup. Evan stormed the parent-teacher meeting. Alex's hand steadying his fury. "He's not weird," Evan declared, accent thickening with passion. "He's ours. And we'll fight for him like we fought for each other." The principal nodded. Policies shifting under their advocacy. But the incident reopened Evan's scars, echoes of Guadalajara taunts. The fear that acceptance was ever fragile. That night, as Luca vented in sobs on the couch, Evan held him, whispering, "We choose you every day, blood or not." Alex joined. Their triad of fortress, turning pain into power. From its sprang community, Evan organizing a queer youth engineering workshop. Alex screening his film at local high schools. Luca finding peers in the glow of shared stories. Spring rains washed in renewal. But also reckonings. Rosa announced a visit. Her first since the wedding. Arriving with suitcases stuffed with embroidered linens and a secret agenda, matchmaking for Maria. Still single at 35. She needs a good man. Rosa confided on the subway, clutching her purse like a shield. Evan exchanged glances with Alex. Amusement masking unease. The dinner unfolded in their sunlit dining nook. Maria's laughter clashing with Rosa's pointed questions to eligible neighbors Alex had roped in. But midway, as wine loosened tongues, Rosa turned to Luca. "And you, Mijo, school treating you right?" Luca, braces glinting, launched into tales of his film club projecta, short on foster kids finding home. Rosa's eyes misted, her hand finding Evan's. "You built this. A real familia." The matchmaking fizzled into toasts. Maria winking at Evan. "See. Miracles multiply." Yet the visit unearthed buried grief. Alone in the kitchen post-dinner, Rosa cornered Evan, her voice a whisper of old wounds. "I failed you, hijo. Hiding who you are. That was my fear, not yours." Tears carved rivers down her lined cheeks. And Evan pulled her close. The scent of her lavender soap a portal to childhood hugs. "You came around. Mama. That's the bridge we crossed." Forgiveness flowed bidirectional, mending threads frayed by oceans. She departed with hugs for Luca and a promise to host them all in summer. Her blessing a balm on Evan's soul. Summer's swelter brought the Hudson groundbreaking. A ceremony under cerulean skies where dignitaries ribbon cut and cameras flashed. Evan stood on the podium, hard hat shadowing his eyes. Voice steady as he credited collaborators and subtly. The loves that inspired him. Bridges aren't just steel. They're trust. Rebuilt one plank at a time. Alex and Luca cheered from the crowd, their pride a visible aura. Post-event, they escaped to Fire Island, a queer haven where beaches stretched like invitations to exhale. Luca discovered sandcastle engineering. Alex sketched waves crashing with romantic fury. And Evan swam until exhaustion. Surf erasing doubts. Bonfires crackled with stories Luca's coming out at school. Met with surprising allyship. Alex's Ohio reconciliation deepening with weekly calls. "They ask about you." Alex murmured one starry night. Evan's head on his chest. "Your family now?" In the flames dance. Evan felt the arc of his life, from solitary exile to this woven tapestry. But autumn winds carried whispers of challenge. Alex's film won an Indie Award, thrusting them into spotlights that illuminated cracks. Paparazzi hounded their stoop. Tabloids twisting green card romance into scandalous fodder. Luca withdrew, hoodie up against stares at school. Evan shielded them fiercely. But internally, paranoia bloomed flashbacks to border patrols. The terror of exposure. A tense family meeting ensued. Voices rising over cooling pozole. "We can't hide," Alex insisted. "This is our story unit." Luca nodded slowly, inspired to pen an op-ed for his school paper. His words raw. "My dad's taught me family isn't given. It's grown." Published. It went viral, drawing support that drowned the hate. Evan, reading it at his desk, wept, pride swelling for the boy who'd become their mirror and mender. Winter holidays wove the year's threads tight. Ohio beckoned, the Harper farm aglow with lights despite Margaret's fading health. Evan drove through snow-dusted lanes, Luca chattering about physics finals, Alex's hand warm on his thigh. The welcome was warmer than imagined, Harold grilling Evan on bridge specs, Margaret gifting knitted scarves scented with home. Luca bonded over chess with Harold, stories of Midwestern resilience echoing Evan's own. As snow fell softly on Christmas Eve, carols mingling with mariachi on a playlist, Evan pulled Alex aside in the barn, hay-scented air thick with memory. "This is what we fought for," he said, kissing him slow and sure. "Family. Everywhere." The year closed with quiet triumphs. Evan's bridge spanning the river, a testament to connection. Alex greenlighting a sequel film. Luca's acceptance to a summer program in Guadalajara, bridging his heritages. In their apartment, as midnight fireworks painted the sky, they clinked glasses, Evan's eyes on his beloveds. From forced vows to this boundless love, he'd found not just survival, but sanctity. And in every glance, the promise, more bridges to build, more hearts to hold. As the calendar flipped to Evan's 36th year, the rhythm of their life pulsed with a new undercurrent, a sense that foundations, once laid, demanded tending lest they crack under unseen pressures. The bridge's completion dominated headlines, Evan's name etched in steel. But acclaim brought isolation, colleagues clapping his back while sidestepping his husband at galas. Whispers of diversity higher stinging like salt. Home offered respite. Luca's senior year, a whirlwind of college apps and prom debates. Dads, "Can I take Javier? He's..." "You know." Evan grinned, memories of his own hidden crushes surfacing. "Take him. And dance like no one's watching." Alex, ever the romantic, tailored Javier's boutonniere. Their home a launchpad for Luca's budding authenticity. Spring bloomed with Luca's acceptance to NYU's film program. A full ride that sparked tears and tequila toasts. "You're flying." "Mijo," Evan said, hugging him fierce, pride mingling with the pang of empty nest echoes. But joy shadowed by Margaret's decline. Her letters grew frail, urging a visit. They drove to Ohio in May, wildflowers rioting along interstates. Luca filming the journey for a class project. The farm felt hallowed now. Margaret's rocker by the window, a throne of stories. "Tell me about your bridges again," she rasped, hand in Evan's. He did, weaving tales of spans that withstood storms. Metaphors for her son's return. Harold's gruffness softened further, inviting Alex to co-tend the fields, their laughter carrying on wind. As they left, Margaret's whisper to Evan, "You gave me my boy back." "Thank you." Her passing in June was gentle, a release into peace. Her funeral a gathering of quiet miracles, old neighbors nodding approval at the city suns. Harold's eulogy praising Alex's chosen path. Grief rippled through summer. Alex retreating into scripts. Evan into blueprints for a memorial park honoring immigrants. Luca, home from orientation, became their anchor, organizing bonfires where they shared Margaret's recipes. Her apple pie a sweet requiem. She saw us, Alex said one dusk, flames reflecting in his eyes. Really saw? Evan nodded, holding him as stars pricked the sky, their love a steady flame against loss. The park project ignited Evan's passion anew. Designs incorporating communal spaces, gardens for storytelling, paths etched with migration quotes. Funding flowed from queer philanthropists, drawn to his narrative, turning personal history into public healing. Autumn's harvest brought harvest of another kind, Maria's engagement, announced via video call with fireworks in the background. To a woman, Evan finally free to choose. Her fiancé, Sophia, a fiery Guadalajara teacher, mirrored Maria's spirit. Their wedding set for December in Mexico. Preparations consumed them, Evan sketching floral arches, Alex scripting vows, Luca designing invitations with bilingual flair. The trip south was a homecoming amplified, Rosa's casa bursting with extended kin, Tomas grilling cabrito with uncharacteristic smiles. The ceremony under starlit skies blended traditions, Catholic rites with queer toasts. Sophia's kiss sealing bonds long denied. Evan, best man, raised a glass to choices that build, not break. Later, on the rooftop, Maria pulled him aside. You started this. Pamano. Your courage. Tears fell. Siblings reunited in full light. Back in the chill of New York winter, the empty nest loomed larger. Luca's dorm move, a milestone marked by pizza and packed boxes. Call every day? Alex joked, but his voice cracked. Their apartment echoed at first, nights stretching long. But opportunity knocked, a sabbatical for Evan to consult on sustainable builds in Latin America. Alex tagging along for a documentary. Mexico City first, then Guadalajara, roots revisited with fresh eyes. In the Zocalo, Evan introduced Alex to old haunts, the cathedral's bells tolling like heartbeats. Rosa hosted a feast, her health waning but spirit fierce. Tomas sharing war stories over mezcal. You made good, he grunted, clapping Evan's Shadera benediction, years in coming. The journey deepened their intimacy. Hotel nights alive with whispers of futures, perhaps fostering again, or writing their story as a book. Returning invigorated, they dove into community, Evan mentoring at a youth center, Alex teaching screenwriting to queer immigrants. Luca thrived. Weekend visits filled with tales of campus flings and film shoots. One snowy February eve, as they skated at Bryant Park, Luca announced his first boyfriend, Javier, beaming beside him. Proud of you, Evan said, pulling them into a huddle. Alex's laughter warm against the cold. In that spin of blades and bonds, Evan glimpsed eternity, not flawless, but full. Spring's thaw mirrored internal shifts, Evan's park opening. A ribbon cut under cherry blossoms. Dedications to Margaret and lost migrants drawing crowds. Alex's documentary premiered at Tribeca. Raw footage of their travels earning standing ovations. This is us, he dedicated, hand in Evan's. Summer saw them fostering Agana, shy 12-year-old girl. Mia, with wide eyes and a talent for poetry. Her arrival was chaos and grace. Bedtime stories in 3 languages. Her first pride parade, a riot of color and questions. Are you my dad's forever? She asked, small hand in Evan's. As long as you want, he promised. Heart expanding, infinite. By autumn, the family mosaic gleamed, Mia's adoption papers signed. Luca's graduation looming. Visits to Ohio sustaining Harold's twilight years. Evan, surveying his life's span from green card desperation to this constellation of love, knew the true structure, not steel beams, but souls intertwined. And as leaves fell like confetti, he held Alex close, whispering, we crossed it all. Together. The fabric of their days wove tighter with Mia's laughter echoing through the halls. a counterpoint to the deepening grooves of time on Evan's Fassa 37 now, with silver threading his temples like subtle wisdom. Her adoption finalized in a sun-drenched courtroom. Judges gavel a joyful punctuation. But the real ceremony was Rose's backyard blessing in July, flown in for the occasion. Benditions para esta familia, she intoned, water from a holy spring sprinkling their brows. Tomas's nod solemn beside her. Mia, clutching a stuffed llama from Guadalajara, beamed up at Evan. You're my bridge. Papa. The word landed like sunlight, dissolving remnants of old isolations. Luca's graduation from NYU was a spectacle of caps and gowns. His thesis film a poignant doc on multi-generational queer families screened to teary applause. Javier, now a fixture, knelt with a ring under oak trees post-ceremony, their engagement a spark that lit family fireworks. To legacies. Luca toasted at the reception, Evan's arm around Alex, pride swelling chest tight. But beneath the cheers, Evan felt the pull of legacy's weight, his own parents aging. Rose's cough persistent. Harold's letters frielier. A September call confirmed fears Rose's diagnosis. Lung cancer. Stage 3. Come soon. Mijo, she urged, voice steady but thin. The flight to Guadalajara was a blur of contingency plans. Alex handling Mia's school drop-offs via video. Luca promising daily check-ins. The hacienda felt shrunken, shadows lengthening in courtyards where Evan once played. Rosa, swathed in shawls, greeted them with forced vigor. But her eyes mirrors of his own betrayed the thief time. I've lived full, she assured over herbal teas. Tomas hovering like a sentinel. Days blurred into vigils, Evan reading her favorite Lorca poems. Alex charming aunts with guitar strums. Mia drawing colorful cards that elicited rare laughs. Maria, Sophia, and their toddler niece arrived. The house alive with babble, a bulwark against encroaching dark. One dusk, as agave silhouetted against sunset. Rosa pulled Evan to the garden. No regrets. Hijo, you taught me love's no sin. Her hand in his, papery yet firm, sealed a peace profound. She slipped away in October's embrace. Under full moon, surrounded by Kinner funeral a tapestry of roses and rancheras. Evan's eulogy a bridge of words. Mama crossed borders of heart before I did. Grief's tide pulled them under upon return. New York's neon a harsh contrast to Guadalajaran warmth. Alex dove into editing Luca's film for distribution, channeling sorrow into art. Evan sketched memorials. One for Rosa Community Center in Astoria with Mexican tilework and storytelling nooks. Mia, sensing the quiet, penned verses in her journal, sharing one over Coco. Grandmas live in stars and stories. Her insight steadied them, fostering nights of shared tears and tamale-making marathons. Harold's Thanksgiving invite arrived like manna. The Ohio farm a harvest of comfort turkey and tamales side by side. Mia charming with somersaults and hay. Your mother would approve, Harold said to Alex. Eyes misty over pie. Evan watched. Heart mending, families. Blood and chosen, converging in grace. Winter's hush brought unexpected bloom. Sophia's pregnancy announcement. A niece or nephew on the horizon, pulling Maria's wedding plans forward. They jetted south again in December. The ceremony a vibrant affair in a colonial church. Vows exchanged amid poinsettias and candlelight. Evan, walking Maria down the aisle, whispered, proud of your path. Sophia's bump under white lace symbolized futures unfolding. Luca and Javier toasting as padrinos. Post-honeymoon, the couple settled in Guadalajara. Sophia's school a hub for queer education. Maria's designs for indigenous textiles a nod to roots reclaimed. Back home, Evan's Memorial Center broke ground. Funded by gala crowds moved by his speech, We honor the ones who taught us to build, not just survive. Mia's first school play cast her as a bridge-building explorer. Her performance drawing whoops from Alex in the front row. Lucasfilm release coincided with Pride. Screenings packed with immigrants sharing tales that mirrored Evan's green cards to genuine homes. One post-film Q&A. A young man approached. Your story gave me courage to come out. Evan hugged him. Alex's proud squeeze on his waist a silent vow renewed. Spring's renewal saw Harold's health falter. A hip fracture confining him to rehab. They shuttled midterms for Mia. Work calls for Evan. But family duty called. The Ohio spring was tentative crocuses pushing through snow, mirroring Harold's grit. Don't coddle me, he grumbled, but accepted Evan's engineering tips for farm ramps. Alex read farm journals aloud. Mia drew get-well cards with tractors and rainbows. Harold's discharge brought him east for summer, bunking in their guest room gruff mornings yielding to evenings of chess with Luca. Stories of Alex's boyhood pranks. You turned out right, Harold admitted one stargazing night. Evan's translation bridging any gaps. His return west fortified. Promises of annual visits etched. Autumn leaves carpeted parks as Evan's 40th loomed. A milestone marked not with fanfare but intimacy, a backyard gathering with Javier's ring exchange. Mia's poetry recital. Harold's video toast from the farm. Alex's gift a custom blueprint of their life's bridges. From courthouse to adoptions drew gasps. To 40 more. Evan murmured. Kiss sealing decades. In quiet reflection, he traced the arc, forced marriage a catalyst for authentic kin. Each loss a lesson in love's resilience. Their family, sprawling and steadfast, was the green card to eternity. Midlife's currents swirled Evan into uncharted waters at 40. The mirror reflecting a man tempered by triumphs and tempests grows feet from laughter. Furrows from farewells. The Memorial Center's dedication in May was a symphony of voices, migrant poets reciting under archways. Mia unveiling a plaque for Rosa with trembling hands. For grandmas who built invisible bridges. She read. Crowd hushed. Alex filmed it all. His latest project a series on legacy families. Luca producing with Javier's steady hand. Success bred demands Evan's firm expanding to international bids. Tempting relocations to warmer climes. What if we chased sunsets? Alex mused over wine one June eve. Skyline twinkling beyond. Evan hesitated. Roots deep in Brooklyn soil. But the seed planted. Summer's heat amplified changes. Harold's full relocation east. Selling the farm to fund assisted living near them. The move was logistical ballet trucks laden with heirlooms. Mia claiming a quilt for her room. Harold's apartment in Queens buzzed with adaptation. Evan installing smart lights for his arthritis. Alex hosting memory suppers, where Ohio tales mingled with Mexican folktales. Never thought I'd end up here. Harold confessed over borscht borrowed from neighbors. But his eyes sparkled at Luca's wedding plants a spring affair in Central Park. Sophia's baby arrived in August. A girl named Rosalia after Rosa. Her cries a joyful echo via FaceTime. Maria beamed. Exhausted yet elated. She's got your fire. Evan. Yet beneath bounty. Cracks spiderwebbed. Evan's travel for a Panama project strained seams weeks apart. Calls crackling with static and unspoken longings. Alex. Juggling series edits. Leaned on Luca for Mia's bedtime duties. But resentment simmered. We're drifting. Alex admitted upon Evan's return in September. Voice raw over cooling paella. The fight erupted gentle but deep. Accusations of priority shifts. Fears of lost spark. Mia, overhearing, drew a family portrait with frayed threads. Her note, fix the bridge. Dad's. It prompted therapy not mandated this time, but chosen sessions in DR. Liang's sunlit office. Now graying like them. What do you need? She probed. Evan voiced the terror. To not lose you to my ambitions. Alex confessed wanderlust masked as escape. Vows renewed. They planned a sabbatical, 3 months in Mexico. Work remote. Family in tow. Autumn's palette framed Harold's 80th. A bash in his new digs with balloons and brisket. Luca officiated a mock vow renewal for him and the memory of Margaret. Tears flowing as Harold danced a clumsy two-step with Mia. To late bloomers. He toasted. Evan's arm steadying him. The party spilled into stories Harold's youth rejecting his own father's bigotry. A parallel to Alex's pain. You boys showed me grace, he said. Hug bearish. It fortified Evan for the Mexico leap. Packing lists blending tools and toys. Winter in Guadalajara was a balm of adobe walls and mountain air. Their rented casita a haven. Evan consulted on local infrastructure. Mornings sketching with Tomas's old tools borrowed from Maria. Alex scripted episodes amid bougainvillea. Luca and Javier visiting for the wedding intimate under olive trees. Vows exchanged with agave blooms. You crossed worlds for me, Luca said. Ring slipping on. Mia chased cousins. Her Spanish blooming. Harold video calling with tales of snow back home. Sophia's Rosalia cooed in laps. A new generation's thread. But immersion unearthed Evan's latent doubts, whispers from old neighbors about the American life, diluting his heritage. A family gathering turned tense. An uncle's ale-lace jab. You forgot where you came from. Evan rose. Voice steel. I brought it with mellow that honors all. The silence broke into nods. Maria's squeeze affirming. Alex. Witnessing. Later held him under stars. You're the root that grew us all. Therapy's tools sharpened their dialogue, turning friction to fuel. Spring's return heralded homecoming. Evan's Panama bid won, but deferred for balance. Luca's honeymoon in Oaxaca yielded pottery gifts. Javier's family embracing the fold. Mia's school science fair featured a model bridge for papas, earning blue ribbons and hugs. Harold's health stabilized. His stories now podcast fodder for Alex's series. As cherry blossoms dusted parks, Evan proposed their own renewal vows under the real Hudson span. Friends and family circling. From fake to forever. Alex echoed. Kiss ceiling. Midlife was an eclipse. But zenith, love's deepened. Family's fractal. Evan's heart a vast. Welcoming arch. The half-century mark approached Evan like a horizon at dawn 45. With vitality undimmed but perspective sharpened. Each year a plank in the ever-sturdy bridge of his life. The series premiere in fall drew critical acclaim. Panels buzzing with their stories' resonance. Evan moderating with quiet authority. Art from ashes. He quipped, but inwardly marveled at the boy from bodegas now shaping narratives. Mia, 10 and fierce, starred in a school play as an engineer heroine. Her curtain call met with Alex's whoops and Evan's bouquet of wildflowers. Like you, Papa. She grinned. Petals in her braids. Winter brought Sophia and Maria stateside. Rosalia's first snow a wonder of mittens and muffled squeals. The visit extended into holiday chaos. Baking wars between Rose's recipes and Margaret's pies. Harold judging with mock severity. Luca and Javier announced adoption pursuits. Their apartment hunt a family affair. Evan scouting lofts with structural eye. Alex envisioning nurseries. Paying it forward. Luca said. Hugging Evan tight. But joy tempered by news. Tomas's stroke. Mild but sobering. Pulling them south in January. Guadalajara's chill wrapped the hospital in fog. Tomas grumbling from bed. Old engine needs tune-up. Recovery was slow. Dan Seven's hands guiding rehab exercises. Alex entertaining with film clips. Mia reading picture books in Spanish. Maria's vigilance shown. Sophia balancing baby and bedside. Tomas's discharge brought home truths. You saved me twice. Hijinks from borders. Once from Pride. The confession. Whiskey slurred one night. Mended final fissures. Spring's vigor saw Tomas joining the migration east. A ground floor walk-up near Maria's new Queens branch of her textile co-op. Family dinners became multilingual symphonies. Tomas bonding with Harold over tool sheds. Their accents clashing in companionable grunts. Evan's firm launched a mentorship for immigrant youth. Mia volunteering with sketches of dream builds. Luca's adoption approval came swift as siblings set. Brother and sister from the system. Their home swelling with cribs and chaos. Uncle Evan duties. He joked. But Evan's visits brimmed with uncle-niece playdates. Teaching tiny hands to stack blocks like beams. Summer solstice marked Alex's 45th. A surprise getaway to Fire Island extended family minding the young ones. Just them recapturing early sparks. Beaches whispered memories, that first kiss in rain. Now echoed in salt-kissed embraces. Still my lifeline. Alex murmured. Waves lapping their toes. Back amid barbecue haze. The gathering swelled, Sophia's family visiting. Rosalia toddling after Mia. Tomas grilling with Harold's recipes. A thunderstorm rolled in, scattering them indoors for board games and ghost stories. Laughter thunderous. Evan watched Alex animate tales. Heart full, from stranger to soul's architect. Autumn's harvest yielded professional pinnacles. Evan's keynote at an engineering expo. Extolling bridges of belonging. Scouts approaching for books. Alex's series renewed for second season. Scripts infused with Tomas's tales. But personal tides turned. Harold's dementia diagnosis. Early stage. A thief stealing memories in increments. They rallied cognitive games designed by Evan. Story circles led by Alex. Mia's drawings labeling farm photos. Remember me. Harold pleaded one foggy afternoon. Evan's hand firm, always. Pop. The care deepened bonds. Harold's lucid days gems of gratitude. You made my son whole. Winter wrapped in resilience. Luca's twins arriving in snow-chubby-cheeked miracles named Emilio and Elena. After Evan's father, and a nod to strength. The baptism blended faiths. Tomas holding Elena with awe. Harold beaming from his armchair. Maria's co-op thrived. Textiles adorning the memorial center's walls. Sophia teaching weaving classes. As New Year's Eve chimed. Family sprawled in pajamas. Fireworks beyond windows. Evan pulled Alex to the balcony. Halfway to forever, he said. Foreheads touching. Midlife's gifts, not ease. But depth love's layered. Losses lessons. A family vast as the skyline they'd claimed. 50 crept upon Evan with the subtlety of dawn. His reflection a map of Journey's 50. Hair fully silvered like moonlight on steel. Eyes holding oceans of earned peace. The expo keynote birthed a book deal. Bridging Hearts, an immigrant's blueprint for love. Ghostwritten with Alex's flair. Release slated for Pride Month. Signings loomed. But first, Spring's promise, Luca's twins' first steps. Wobbly toward Evan's outstretched arms amid park picnics. Papa Evan's got you. He cooed. Mia filming with dramatic zooms. Her tween sass blooming. Tomas's adjustment flowered unexpectedly volunteered at the youth center. Sharing mechanic wisdom with wide-eyed boys. His accent a bridge to Evan's mints. Your old man's useful yet. He quipped over lunches. Pride veiled in gruffness. Harold's decline quickened. Though, wandering spells necessitated full-time care. The family pooling for a facility with views of the river. Visits became rituals, Alex pushing his chair along waterfront paths. Evan recounting bridge lore. Mia reciting poems. One lucid spring day, Harold gripped Evan's wrist. Tell Alex. Proud. The words. A final gift. Eased the goodbye in June. Funeral simple under oaks. Eulogies weaving his redemption arc. He crossed to us late. But fully. Alex spoke. Voice steady. Evan's hand anchoring. Summer's heat fueled the book's launch. Events packed with queer immigrants clutching copies like talismans. You gave words to my silence. One reader wept. Evan's hug conveying what prose couldn't. Alex, producer now, wove episodes around themes from the pages. Guest spots featuring Tomas and Maria. Luca balanced fatherhood with directing gigs. Javier's graphic design, firm booming. Their home a nursery of noise and nurture. Sophia's second child, a boy named Tomasito, arrived in August. The christening a cross-continental affair via hybrid Guadalajara kin toasting virtually. But Evan's body betrayed Ambicion's slipped disc from years of hunching over drafts, sidelining him for physio. Bedbound weeks tested patience. Alex's bedside vigils laced with massages and manuscripts. Rest is building too. He soothed, reading fan letters aloud. Mia, ever intuitive, baked healing cookies with essential oils. Her middle school project on family dynamics earning A's and Evan's awe. You see us clearest, he told her. Cookie crumbs on the duvet. Recovery coincided with fall foliage. Slow walks reclaiming strength. Tomas joining for stoop sits. Cigars shared in silence. Autumn brought Luca's directorial debut. A play on forged families. Twins gurgling backstage. Premiere night. Evan in the audience. Book in lap. Swelled with legacies, torch passed. Post-show party overflowed with toasts. Maria unveiling a textile wall hanging, portraits of them all. Threads of many colors. Our weave, she said. Sophia nodding. Tomasito in arms. Harold's absence lingered. But his spirit echoed in Javier's designs for the set farm motifs bridging pasts. Winter holidays amplified multitudes. Rosalia's third birthday a princess affair. Emilio and Elena's first snowman lopsided joys. The gathering spanned generations. Tomas leading piñata swings. Maria's co-op gifts under tree. Virtual cheers from Guadalajara cousins. As midnight neared, Alex drew Evan to the kitchen. Flour dusted from cookie dough. 50 looks good on you, he whispered. Kiss tasting of vanilla and vows. Evan's book climbed bestsellers. But truer measure, letters from youth building their bridges. Inspired. Spring's thaw heralded Mia's bat mitzvah blended right in a progressive shul. Her Torah portion on journeys from exile to embrace mirroring Evan's arc. Rabbi's blessing, may your bridges ever welcome. Guests span the spectrum, Tomas and Kippa. Luca's family. Sophia's lullabies for fussy Tomasito. Post-ceremony. Mia confided dreams of architecture. Evan's tools already hers. Like you, but with stories, she said. Ambition alight. Summer saw the family homestead expand. Luca and Javier buying adjacent. A compound of laughter. Evan's physio complete. He tackled a legacy project, a queer immigrant archive in the Memorial Center. Artifacts from their lives donated. Alex curated films. Tomas archived tools. As leaves turned, Evan's reflection smiled back, 50 not endpoint. But expands family a living span. Love the unyielding cable. 60 arrived for Evan like a well-worn path. Familiar yet revealing new vistas, silver beard framing smiles. Hands steady from decades of creation. Heart vast as the spans he'd engineered. The archive's opening in May was a time capsule unveiled, green card stubs. Wedding photos faded but fervent. Mia's childhood drawings beside Tomas's wrenches. Dedication speeches flowed. Evan's closing, these aren't relics. They're roots for tomorrow's builders. Applause thundered. Luca filming for posterity. Twins clapping chubby hands. Tomas's vitality waned. Arthritis curbing his volunteering. But he mentored from a rocker stories to Mia's high school group. His voice gravelly wisdom. Bridges start with one stone, he'd say. Evan's echo. Maria's co-op globalized. Pop-ups in Mexico City featuring Sophia's educational weaves. Tomasito apprenticing at 10. Lucas Productions earned Emmys. Javier's designs on Broadway sets. Emilio and Elena's school plays mini masterpieces. Rosalia. Kindergarten firebrand. Pen letters to Uncle Evan with crayon bridges. Summer's languor brought a health scare. Evan's routine check revealing early hypertension. A whisper of mortality. Slow the current. The doc advised. Alex enforcing walks along the High Line. Mia joining with podcasts on sustainable design. You're irreplaceable. Alex murmured during one sunset stroll. Hand intertwined. Evan nodded. Recalibrating, delegating firm leads. Prioritizing sunsets over spreadsheets. The adjustment birthed Joy's grandpa duties amplified. Teaching Elena circuitry with gummy bears. Emilio soccer drills echoing Guadalajara fields. Autumn's crisp air framed weddings anew. Mia's college send-off party. Her architecture acceptance at Cornell a torch lit. Build worlds. Mija. Evan toasted. Tears pricking as she hugged Tomas. Now leaning on a cane. Luca walked her to the car. Javier laden with care packages. Empty nest redux. But softer Mia's FaceTimes from Ithaca, filled with dorm tales. Her first crush confided shyly. A girl. Papa. Like Aunt Maria. Evan's pride beamed. Love's bridge is wide. Winter holidays swelled the compound. Rosalia's school pageant. Twins' holiday concert mishaps drawing giggles. Tomas. Freilier. Savored the chaos. His gift to Evan a pocket knife from youth for carving paths. Heart heavy. Evan cherished it. Knowing time's tide. As snow blanketed stoops. Family caroled door to door. Voices blending accents and ages. Alex's arm around him. Evan whispered. Our song. Spring revealed Tomas's decline pneumonia sapping strength. Hospital beds familiar foes. The vigil spanned days. Kin rotating Maria's songs. Sophia's broths. Lucas stories for Tomasito. Evan's hand in his father's. Final words. You made me proud. Mijo. Always. The passing in April was serene. Funeral in Queens of Fusion, mass with mariachi. Eulogy by Evan on, the man who taught me to stand firm. Burial beside Rosa in Guadalajara. But spirit lingered in every tool. Every tale. Grief's garden grew summer greens. Memorial scholarships in Tomas's name for young mechanics. Evan's book sequel outlining family blueprints. Mia's summer internship at his firm. Her designs fresh fire. Luca directed a biopic on their journey. Casting calls buzzing. As harvest moons rose. Evan's 60th dawned with balloons and brunches. Alex's toast. To the builder who spanned us all. By autumn. Healing rooted. Tomasito's bar mitzvah project on Grandpa's legacies. Elena's piano recitals honoring Margaret. Winter's Eve. Compound aglow. Evan surveyed his constellation from forced vows to this galaxy of kin. Alex's kiss. Enduring as ever, we found it. Yes. The real family. Denied then delivered. A lifetime's grace.
You see that skyline? That's our future. Don't let fear stop you now. You're stronger than you think.